everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be reviewing Love is Blind Season 2, The Reunion. So I'll go through the couples as they appeared, and then if there's anything else, I'll add at the end. So we'll start off with Shayna and with Kyle. For me, Shayna and Kyle were always a strange match because one, they said they didn't agree on their religion, and the other, there was something just a bit off for them. I think for Kyle, I'm sorry if I'm getting this wrong, but I don't think Kyle is someone who in everyday society would struggle to find a partner. I think his only hindrance would be his occupation, as he said. But I don't think he really needed to come on Love is Blind. I think he might have come on Love is Blind more to sort of steer away from his current career and hopefully find something else, because he's quite a good looking dude that he could do anything really. So I don't know why he was on Love is Blind. He was upset, obviously. He has the right to be upset that Shayna used him, which anyone can see that she used, in my opinion, she used him because she wanted to see what Shane looked like, or she wanted to be near Shane. And I think this is the reason why she accepted this proposal, that we should go to Mexico and see Shane and hopefully maybe do the Jessica, and try and work things out with Shane and hopefully stop him from marrying Natalie and proposing to her. So Shayna, in her own defense, she said, I was serious about it. I felt intimidated by you giving me your mother's ring. And it's like, even if he had given you the world, if you didn't want to marry him, you should have just said no. And she sort of gave a wishy-washy apology. And for me, Shane has never been one of my favorite participants. So I'm indifferent to her. I don't know. I don't know why she did what she did. There's no rationale for what she did. She tried to sort of address things with Shane, and Shane wasn't having it. He didn't comment or say anything about it. And so I think she did it more. I think some people go on these shows more for, as people say, for Instagram followers or for likes and stuff. But at times it's not worth the hassle, the backlash that you get from it. So I don't know. I don't think her reasons might have been genuine for going there. But I think once she connected with Shane, she then lost what she went in for. But anyway, I digress. From them, we move on to Mallory and Sal. Mallory and Sal, they were another couple that was... I think Mallory and Sal connected because they share the same heritage and they say the same sort of culture and beliefs. And I think from my observation, I think Mallory was attracted to Sal because she felt he would be more acceptable to her family, because obviously he's Latino as well. They have the same beliefs, they have the same values. And I think this is one of the reasons why she chose him over Jared. But I think when they got to the reveal, he didn't meet her expectations. And from there, I think she just went through the motions, just so as to say, I gave it a try. And I think this is one of the reasons why she didn't bring her family. They sort of said they tried to meet up after the show and tried to date, but realized that, it didn't work. And I feel really sorry for Salvador, because Salvador tried his best to be a stand-up guy, and sadly he ended up in a situation whereby it wasn't worth the paper it was written on. And it's really sad, because I think for someone like Jared, he was able to see that he dodged a bullet given everything Sal went through, because had he not been rejected by Mallory, I think if he were looking at it, if he were someone like me, he would have thought, oh my God, I would have been the one going through all the things that Sal is going through. And Sal said he never felt heard by her. And she didn't seem to accept it and sort of acknowledge that, which is really sad, because if somebody tells you that, the least you'd expect is to say, oh, I'm so sorry you felt... She did say, I'm so sorry, but I don't think she fully grasped what you were saying. So I don't see any hope of them ever making up. I think they've since moved on. From there, we go to Natalie and Shane. Natalie and Shane are heartbreaking for me, because Natalie and Shane are a couple I think that a lot of people saw making it to the end. And the fact that they didn't make it is heartbreaking, because I think whatever issues happened when the guys went to the bachelor party, Shane carried those home with him. And when he tried to speak to Natalie, I think she wasn't as empathetic as he wanted, or she wasn't as giving affirmations as he needed. And it's sad, but he knew this about Natalie, that these are things that she's not good at. And I think whatever problems they had, whether it was he was intoxicated, and then the issues of whatever baggage they were both bringing, it just made things worse. And you can see the pain and the anguish on their faces, that they love each other, they know they love each other, but they're struggling to find a way forward. I think they need a mediator, someone to sort of come in, sit them down, have a conversation, help them iron out whatever their problems are, and see if they can find a way forward. Because I think if they can address whatever their issues are, they will be able to move on and sort of have, maybe get married at some point. But it's just finding their way over the hurdle. I know they've posted on Instagram about each other, but I don't know. We'll see. From there, we go to Sheikh and Dipti. Sheikh, I think, was heartbroken when Dipti said no. And so his goal today, I think, was trying to reclaim himself or to reclaim his manhood or whatever, because he was just being a jerk. Everything somebody said, he had to have a comment. Every time somebody said something, he had to have a comment. And I didn't You'd expect him, having seen everything that happened, to have apologized to Dipti sincerely and apologized to Dipti's family, because Dipti at one point was so angry. She told him off that, my family welcomed you and this is how you behaved. And he still didn't acknowledge that. It still didn't reach home. It still didn't seem to sink in. And Vanessa Lachey tried her best to get him to see what he had done and how wrong it was. But he still didn't seem to have the awareness to understand what he's done. And I hope at some point he grows up, because he looks, he's in his 30s, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know when he expects to grow up and be mature enough to take responsibility for his actions and sort of come up with a plan. I jokingly said, I found Alicia from Married at First Sight a husband, just because they both love to work with pets, but they're horrible to people. And Nicholas A. said it, that maybe this is why you work with animals, because you're terrible with people. Your people skills are bad. So I don't know. I really don't know. It's really sad that he's someone with a professional career who's out here behaving like a jackass. I'm sorry, for lack of a better word. It gets me angry. From there, and I also think his comments about Vanessa, being attracted to Vanessa, were a low blow and very disrespectful to Nick. And I hope Nick had a word with him after the show to say, don't disrespect my wife like that again. Whether, I know we're not likely to cross paths, but if we do cross paths, don't ever disrespect my wife. And you could see everybody who was involved in the experiment was very angry at him, to the extent that Sal is one of the most quietest people on there. He ended up telling him, you need to stop. And I don't know. Anyway, from there, we move on to my favorite couple this season, Ayanna and Jared. Ayanna and Jared, for me, I think their relationship was very downplayed, and I think their relationship was affected by the editing. And if they needed, sort of the standout couple for the season, I think Ayanna and Jared should have been the one, because Ayanna and Jared, outside of the Mallory debacle, they were fine and they were smooth sailing. They were working hard towards, establishing a base for their relationship. Their families were very supportive. So there was really no drama. And I think the producers tried to drum up things. And I was really sad and sort of heartbroken for Ayanna when they played. And they played the whole footage of Jared and Mallory having that conversation in Mexico. And Ayanna was right to say, my anger was directed at Jared because he's my partner. He's the one who should have known better. And for me, in that incident, I think, if nothing else, I think Nick should have, I loved the fact that Jared took responsibility for his actions and apologized sincerely to his wife, and, and took time to make sure he reassured that this would never happen again and this was not his intention, which I sincerely accept his apology, even though he's not apologizing to me, because this is one thing that he's been good at. He's always told the truth, and he's always made sure that whatever he did was in Ayanna's best interest outside of the conversation with Mallory. And Mallory, on her part, didn't seem... She tried to blame it on the alcohol. And it's like, seriously, are you Jamie Foxx? Are you blame it on the... And the fact that she couldn't... I don't think she quite grasps, or I don't understand people that if you do something wrong, you can't just say, I own up, I'm sorry, I was wrong, and I'm sorry. And she couldn't do that. And Mallory said, we did have a conversation. Ayanna said, we had a conversation, but my anger was still at my partner and not at her. And Sal himself was upset as well, because I think he was upset about the comments, and he was questioning Jared that, I don't want to say anything, obviously, because I don't want to rock the boat for you, but you were wrong. You said it was a joke. And Jared said, yeah, it was an inappropriate joke. And so I applaud Sal for understanding that he couldn't, break this thing down any further because he didn't want to rock the boat for Jared and his wife. But Mallory, for me, it was really sad, really sad. I think she should have done better. She should have apologized better. But anyway, Nick and Danielle, for me, I don't know. I really didn't see much of them, and I don't know why we didn't see their drama. We were only focused on everybody else's drama, which doesn't make sense, because if you're going to discuss everything else that everybody else did, I don't understand why they didn't say anything about Nick and Danielle, whether it's because of the mental health aspect or whatever. They did speak about, we're going to counseling and stuff, but still, if you're going to bring apart everybody else's issues, bring apart everybody that's involved in the group. I have to commend Nick and Vanessa, though. They did a great job. I like how Vanessa was able to reassure Ayana that, I'm Nick's second wife, and he's my person, and we're doing very well. And so I hope that gives a reassurance that don't listen to people going on about your first choice, blah, blah. And Jared made it clear that, I want my wife to know that and feel that she's never a second option and she's always my number one priority. So, I loved it. I thought the reunion was good. I think they could have had a bit more, they should have dragged it a bit more, because Sheikh took up most of the time saying everything and nothing at the same time. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Bye. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe.